A job description is not just an explanation of the role, right? It's a sales pitch. You are competing for talent and you have to make the case for why somebody should choose you. They might be looking at 10 different job postings this week. Most of them look pretty similar, right? A list of requirements, a list of responsibilities, a salary range if you're lucky. What's going to make you stand out? What makes your job description stand out? What's going to make them stop scrolling in a world full of scrolling? The answer is showing them something worth being excited about. Is it the mission? Is it the team culture? Is it the flexibility? Don't assume candidates will figure it out once they get to the interview. By the time they get to the interview, they've already decided they're interested. You need to create the interest first. Welcome to the Workforce Link podcast, where we're offering forward-thinking conversations for the workforce, linking employers and job seekers to a brighter tomorrow. I'm your host, Sunday Jo Graham, and I am so glad to be here with you today. So, employers and hiring managers, this one is for you. But hey, if you are a job seeker listening, don't tune out just yet, because understanding what's happening on the other side of that application portal is going to help you too. So here's the scenario. You've got an open position. You need somebody good. You write up a job post, you get it approved, you put it out in the world, and then you wait, right? And maybe you get a flood of applications who aren't even close to what you're looking for. Or maybe you get nobody who's applied. Either way, you're probably frustrated, right? You've got a role to fill, and it feels like the right people just aren't out there. But what if the right people are out there and they are just scrolling right past your job posting? So I want to ask you something, and I want you to sit with this for a second, okay? When was the last time that you actually read your own job description? Not to approve it, not to tweak a bullet point, but to read it the way a candidate would read it. To read it with fresh eyes. With no context about your company or your culture or what the role is really like day to day. When is the last time you did that? So here's what the research actually tells us, that more than half of job seekers say that the quality of a job description directly influences whether they decide to apply. More than half. And 83% say that when a job description is vague or unclear, it signals to them that the organization itself is disorganized. So it's not just about attracting applicants, right? It's about the first impression that your entire organization is making. That means the problem might not be the talent pool. The problem might just be the job post itself. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about why job descriptions are scaring away good candidates, and more importantly, what you can do to fix them. I've got 6 practical tips to help you turn that job posting from something people scroll past into something that they actually get excited about. But first, if this podcast has ever helped you, would you do me a favor, share this episode with somebody who needs it? Maybe a business owner in your network who's been frustrated with their hiring process, or maybe a manager who keeps wondering why great candidates aren't applying. Word of mouth is the single best way that we grow this show, and we are genuinely grateful every time you pass it along. So, if you're currently scrolling Facebook reels of cats falling off the counters, I need you to put the phone down, because this episode is more important. Probably. So let's start here. Job descriptions are almost always treated like an administrative task. Somebody needs to write one, so somebody does, right? They pull up an old posting, update a few lines, maybe run it by HR or legal, and then it goes live. Or maybe you don't run it by HR and legal because you're just a small business. But done, right? Box checked. But that little document is doing so much more work than we give it credit for. That job description is the very first impression a candidate has of your organization. It's your handshake before you actually make the handshake. It's the thing that makes somebody to decide in 30 seconds whether they want to keep reading or whether they want to move on. Kind of like when you're interviewing an applicant, right? Like you decide pretty quick if you want to keep talking to this person. It's the same thing with your job description. And here's the reality. The most qualified candidates, they have other options, right? They're not desperate. They're evaluating you just as much as you are evaluating them. So when they land on your job post, they're asking themselves, does this place know what it's doing? Does this sound like somewhere I actually want to work? Can I see myself working here? If your job description doesn't answer those questions, somebody else's job description will. So let's talk about how to fix that. Okay, here are 6 things to focus on. Number 1, be clear and concise. Clarity is everything. It's everything. If somebody reads your job description and finishes it more confused than when they started, guess what? You've already lost them. A lot of job descriptions fail this test because they're trying to cover every single thing that role might ever involve. So they end up being these sprawling, overwhelming documents that read more like a legal contract, right? And than an invitation to apply. And so when something feels overwhelming, people's natural instinct is to back away from that, right? So use plain, straightforward language. Be specific about what the role actually is, what a successful person in that role does on a typical day, and what you're hoping that they will accomplish in their first 6 months or their first year. Don't make the candidate do the work of figuring out what the job is. Okay, do that work for them. And here's a good test. Read your job description out loud. Read it out loud, seriously. If it sounds weird or stiff or like nobody actually talks that way, rewrite it. If you stumble over your own words, guess what? A candidate is going to do that too. And watch your length. A job description doesn't need to be 4 pages long to be thorough, right? In fact, the longer it gets, the less likely people are to finish reading it. So get to the point, be clear, trust the candidate to ask good questions in the interview. Okay. Number 2, cut the corporate jargon. So this one makes me laugh a little every time I see it because we've all seen it, right? Job posts that say things like synergize cross-functional stakeholders or something weird like that, right? Leverage paradigm shifting deliverables in a fast-paced dynamic environment. Like those are real. Those are real things. So what does that mean? I genuinely have no idea. And I promise you that neither does the person that's reading it. So jargon does a few things and none of them are good, right? It makes your organization sound out of touch. It signals that you might be more focused on sounding impressive than actually communicating what it is that you're doing. And it creates distance, right? The exact opposite of what you are wanting to do when you're trying to attract somebody to your team. So now there's a difference between jargon and industry specific terminology. Okay. So if you're hiring a nurse, well, absolutely, you want to use the proper clinical terms, right? If you're hiring a software developer, a technical language is expected and appropriate, right? But there is like no role on earth that requires you to say rock star or thought leader or ninja, okay? Those words have become so overused. They've lost all their meaning. They're not cool anymore. And they often signal to candidates that the culture might be just a little much, right? So write like a real person talking to another real person. If you wouldn't say it in a regular conversation, don't put it in the job description. Ask yourself, if I were telling a friend about this job over coffee, how would I describe it? Okay, start there. All right, number 3, focus on outcomes, not just tasks. So this is one of the biggest shifts that you can make in how you write job descriptions, and it makes a massive difference in how candidates respond. Most job descriptions are basically a long list of things that the person's going to have to do, right? Manages social media accounts, responds to customer inquiries, prepares weekly reports, coordinates with the marketing team, assists with special projects as needed, right? On and on, right? But here's what happens when a candidate reads that list. They start doing the mental math. Can I do that one? Probably. Can I do that one? I think so. Can I do that one? I'm not sure. Can I do that one? I've never done that before. Right? And slowly they talk themselves out of applying, even if they would actually be great at the job. So long task lists also just feel very uninspiring. Nobody wakes up excited to manage a list of responsibilities, right? People wake up excited to do work that matters. I'm going to say that again. People wake up excited to do work that matters. So instead of leading with tasks, lead with outcomes. What is that person going to accomplish? What will be different about your organization because of the work that they do? What problem are they solving? What does success look like at the end of their first year? So for example, instead of saying manages social media accounts, try grows our online community and tells our organization story in a way that connects with the people that we serve. Can you feel the difference in that? Like one sounds like a task, right? The other sounds like a mission. One makes you think about the work. The other makes you think about the impact. So you can still include responsibilities. Just frame them in terms of what they're working toward not just what they're doing. That small shift in framing can change everything about how a candidate sees the role. Hey, real quick, if you are an employer in the Central region, I want to make sure you know about a resource that is available to you completely free of charge. Our Missouri Job Centers offer a full range of employer services at no cost to you. We're talking job posting assistance, candidate recruiting, interview support, work opportunity tax credits, on the job training, incumbent worker training, apprenticeships, and more. Our staff are trained to help you find and keep the workforce you need. With job centers in Columbia, Rolla, Jefferson City, Lebanon, Fulton, Potosi, Lake of the Ozarks, and more, we are in your corner. You can get all the details at cwdregion.com/employer services, and I will drop the link in the show notes for you. Number 4, sell the job. This is one most employers skip entirely, and it's costly. It's cost them good candidates. A job description is not just an explanation of the role, right? It's a sales pitch. You are competing for talent, and you have to make the case for why somebody should choose you. So think about that from the candidate's perspective. They might be looking at 10 different job postings this week. Most of them look pretty similar, right? A list of requirements, a list of responsibilities, a salary range if you're lucky. What's going to make you stand out? What makes your job description stand out? What's going to make them stop scrolling in a world full of scrolling? The answer is showing them something worth being excited about. So what makes your organization a great place to work? Is it the mission? Is it the team culture? Is it the flexibility, the growth opportunities, the fact that your leadership actually listens? Is it the work-life balance? Whatever it is, say that. Don't assume candidates will figure it out once they get to the interview. By the time they get to the interview, they've already decided they're interested. You need to create the interest first. And don't just list all the perks of the job like it's a menu, right? Connect those perks to what it actually feels like to work there. We offer flexible scheduling, right? That's fine. We trust our team to manage their time and get the work done because we hire adults. Hey, that's way better, right? You've gotten the point across. It says the same thing, but it also tells you something about the culture. Some of the best job descriptions that I've seen open with 2 or 3 sentences about who the organization is and why the work matters before they ever get to the role itself. That sets the tone. That tells the candidate, hey, this is a place that knows what it stands for. And that is attractive to job seekers. All right, number 5, use inclusive language. So this one is important, and it's really easy to overlook, especially if you've been writing job descriptions the same way for years. Certain words and phrases, even when completely unintentional, can signal to some candidates that the role might not be for them. It might not be the job for them. Like I've said earlier, words like rock star, ninja, or words like dominant, aggressive, competitive. These tend to skew toward a narrower profile of candidate and can quietly discourage others from applying before they've even read the full job description. So the language that you use sends a signal about your culture. And if that signal doesn't feel welcoming to a wide range of people, you're narrowing your talent pool before the process even starts. So there's also the question of your requirements list. This one's big, okay? Research has consistently shown that men tend to apply for jobs when they meet around 60% of the listed qualifications, while many women won't apply unless they meet closer to 100%. So that long list of requirements you've got, guess what? It might be filtering out genuinely great candidates who don't quite check every box, but would absolutely thrive in the role. So take a hard look at your requirements and ask yourself, what is truly required to do this job well on day one? And what's actually something we could train for, or something that would be nice to have, but isn't necessarily essential? So separate those two lists, okay? Label one, you're required. Label the other, preferred, A+, whatever. You'll likely see a different and broader group of candidates start applying. So the goal is to make as many qualified people as possible feel like they belong in the conversation. Inclusive language will help you do that. All right. Number 6, end with a clear call to action. So this one might sound simple, and it is simple, but I see it missing more often than you'd think, and it matters more than people realize. So you've done all the work, you've written a clear, compelling human job description. The candidate is interested, right? They're ready to take the next step, and then the posting just kind of ends. Like no clear instruction, no obvious next step. They have to go hunting for how to actually apply to the job. Don't make them do that, okay? Don't make them work for it. Tell them exactly what to do. Apply it this link or email your resume to this address or fill out this short form or call this number. Whatever your process is, spell that process out clearly at the end of the description so there is zero confusion about how to raise their hand to apply for the job, okay? And here's something that's going to set you apart. Be upfront about what the process looks like. If you have a multi-step hiring process, tell them that. Maybe say something like, our process includes a phone screen, 1 or 2 interviews, and a brief skills assessment. And we aim to get back to all applicants within 2 weeks. Something like that, right? That's transparency. That kind of transparency is very rare, and candidates appreciate it enormously. It tells them that you respect their time, tells them you're organized, tells them what to expect, and that goes a long way toward building trust before they've even set foot in your door, right? So a clear call to action is kind of just the big bow on the package. Don't skip that big bow, okay? All right, let's bring it all home. Recruiting is a two-way street. The best candidates have choices, and your job description is often the thing that determines whether they choose to learn more about you or whether they choose to keep scrolling. So here's a quick recap of the 6 things that we covered today. Number 1, be clear and concise. If it confuses people, it loses people. Number 2, cut the corporate jargon, write like a human being. Number 3, focus on outcomes and impact, not just a task list. Number 4, sell the job. Tell candidates why they should want to work with you. Number 5, use inclusive language and separate must-haves from nice-to-haves, okay? And number 6, end with a clear, simple call to action. So none of these are complicated, but taken together, they completely change the quality of how candidates show up in your inbox. It is worth the extra hour it takes, I promise, to get your job description right. It is worth it, okay? So if today's episode was helpful to you, please share it with another employer or business owner who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already left a review for the Workforce Link podcast, wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts, would love for you to take a few moments and just do that. It truly helps us reach more people and keep these conversations going. And we would be so grateful for that. Have a great week, my friend, and we will meet again in the next episode. Until then, remember this: there's always a brighter tomorrow if you're willing to find it.
The Central Region Workforce Development Board Incorporated and COPIC are equal opportunity employers and programs. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Missouri Relay Services at 711.